Всем привет, друзья, с вами снова Анастасия, мы продолжаем проходить Шерлока Холмса. Прогулка в лунном свете, так называется новое наше расследование, в котором, собственно говоря, наша тайная полиция, наши юные сыщики помогали нам в расследовании и теперь нуждаются в нашей помощи. Главный персонаж тайной полиции нуждается в помощи, он просит нас очень помочь ему оправдать брата, которого обвинили в преступлении на Халфмут-стрит. В прошлой серии мы должны были приехать на тайный ужин, торжественный, но, к сожалению, произошли обстоятельства, при которых теперь наша тайная полиция нуждается в нас. Мы должны выручить пацана. Мы должны помочь ему оправдать братишку. Надеюсь, что его брат все же не виновен. Опа-на! Ни хрена себе! Вот это, да, вот эта локация. Здорово. Чувак. Нифига себе. Понято, принято. Так, значит, нам надо. А ты, бро, чё сидишь? Чё куришь? Ну, там какие-то чуваки. А туда можно пойти? Смотри-ка, как интересно. Опа! Закрыто. Блядь. Тихо. Все, я поняла. Не. Значит, нам в переулок надо, Ватсон. Пошли, ублюдина. Да, обязательно нуждается в нашей помощи он, чувак. Пойдем. Блин, как круто. Ох, етить твою мать. Так, подожди, а здесь есть что-нибудь? Здесь улик нема. Нету их.
Please, gentlemen, leave the scene now. Oh, Mr. Holmes, is that you?
Good evening, Constable
Marrow. I was here with Inspector Aberline during the Ripper case, Mr. Holmes, back in '88. But then this is nothing like that case. With this one, we've got the murderer, the weapon, and the statements, which speak for themselves.
Of course, Marrow. But you know that appearances can sometimes be deceiving. Who were the victims?
The two men here, both shot. The stab fellow was Brian Vercotti, a well-known ruffian. The other, Kenneth Butler, a jeweller by trade.
You spoke of statements. You have witnesses?
Well, I was there, so I gave my own statement. And then there were two other witnesses who said they saw the killer Chapman. Mr. Turner, a gentleman who lives in that flat over there. And Polly Powell, a flower seller, who was over at the far side of the street.
So, Constable Marrow, I should be delighted to hear your testimony.
I was standing at the north side of Half Moon Street. That was the side that you came from.
But you would have been unable to observe this part of the street, where we are standing now.
That is correct. But I saw the two victims slowly enter Half Moon Street, and then shortly after, the fireworks started. A few minutes after that, the fellow Chapman rushed towards me and ran into Half Moon Street.
Please continue.
I didn't pay attention, but suddenly I heard a woman's cries and police whistles on the other side of Half Moon Street. I rushed over there and I saw the two dead bodies on the ground. When I reached Whitechapel Street, I saw Leighton Chapman. He'd been caught by two police constables.
Did you hear the shots?
Well, I didn't hear any shots. The fireworks were all over the sky. They were so loud I couldn't hear anything else.
What were the fireworks in honour of, Constable?
Well, today's Queen Victoria's birthday, Mr. Holmes.
Ah, yes, I appear to have lost track of the days. It is May now, of course. Constable Marrow, what else caught your attention while you were running through Half Moon Street?
I saw nothing but rats, and I took the time to light every corner with my lamp.
Did you happen to look up at Mr. Turner's window when you were on Half Moon Street at that time?
Yes, I saw that the window was open, but no one was there. It was dark in the room.
Constable, your statements have been of great value to me.
Такс. Давайте трупы. Трупаки осматривать.
The bullet struck his head. This man didn't stand a chance.
Опачки.
This is an ordinary key. I wonder what kind of door it opens.
Ну вот тут вот записочка какая-то, бумажечка же лежит. Давай возьмем. Чё не берешь? Так, ладно. Вот.
A piece of wood that has stuck between the cobblestones. Let us take a closer look. This shard of wood is quite new.
Угу. Пойдем смотреть второй труп.
He tried to stop the bleeding with his hand. Death was not instant. The bullet penetrated his stomach, a dreadful wound. Brian Vercotti suffered greatly. What a terrible way to die. A tattoo from Westgate Prison. Vercotti must have done some time there.
Да. Ну и что мы имеем?
I'm always wondering what's on your
Ой,
mind,
бля,
Holmes.
бесполезный ты, блин, доктор.
It would be my pleasure to assist you with your investigation, Mr. Holmes.
Ладно.
Good evening, Mr. Turner.
I heard Constable Marrow reply to you as Mr. Holmes. Are you that detective gentleman? I've heard of you. And well, I know things about this evening.
Excellent. Might we hear your story?
Сначала мы сделаем твой портрет. Забавно. Ветеран войны, ну понятное дело.
Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
I was already in bed when the fireworks started. A few moments after, I clearly heard 2 gunshots from outside.
Please continue.
I quickly got up and I grabbed the lamp from my nightstand and I rushed towards the window. I looked down and I saw 2 bodies. And there was a man with a gun who was standing nearby.
Where exactly?
Well, near this body.
Did he notice you?
I don't think so. He rushed towards Whitechapel Street without looking around.
Mr. Turner, did you see anyone else in the street?
No, I saw no one but that man, the murderer, the fellow they caught.
Were the two shots you heard consecutive?
Yes, there was a very short pause between them, and they sounded different somehow. It seemed to me that the second shot was louder than the first.
That is an interesting comment. Mr. Turner, what were your actions after you stepped up to the window?
I was afraid that the man with a gun might return, so I stayed close to the window till I saw the policeman coming in the Half Moon from Whitechapel. Then I walked out to tell them everything I saw.
You have helped us a great deal, Mr. Turner.
Угу. Интересное наблюдение.
I'm so glad that the murderer has been caught.
Да мы тоже. Так. Нет. Да. Нет, они не подходят друг для друга, ладно. Чё-то ты пиздишь, Райан Тёрнер. О!
Mr. Holmes, did you see my brother at Scotland Yard? Is he all right?
А, с тобой не поговорить? Ну, пойдем к цветочной женщине. Прикольно.
Mrs. Powell?
What do you want?
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting the police with their investigation of the crime that took place this evening.
Well, I've already gave my testimony. But very well.
Could you tell us everything that you may have seen or heard?
Yes. I was selling my flowers as usual. And then the fireworks began, in honour of Queen Victoria. I enjoyed those. But then, all of a sudden, a young lad ran out of Half Moon Street and stopped just by me. He had a gun in his hand. He was like a ghost, and all covered in blood. It was dark, but I could see him, because of the flashes from the fireworks.
And then?
I screamed as loud as I could. I knew that a policeman should be on duty in the vicinity. He had no time to escape. 2 constables got him. Then another constable came out from the very same street, and I heard him talking of a horrible murder.
Mrs. Powell, did you hear the gunshots?
I'm not sure. You know, what with the fireworks?
Did you see anyone else leaving Half Moon Street, prior to or at the time of the crime?
No, sir, I did not. Even with all the fireworks, I was very attentive, as I'm always on the lookout for customers.
My thanks to you, Mrs. Powell.
Хм. А, блин. Так, ну что? Нам предстоит, видимо, ехать в Скотланд-Ярд и разговаривать с братом Уиггинса. Вот этот хер нам напиздел. Мы его еще проверим.
It would be my pleasure to assist you.
Да нет, не О, кстати. О, смотри, какой глюкан начался. Ну надо же. С чего бы вдруг?
It would be my pleasure to assist you with your investigation, Mr.
Надо
Holmes.
еще раз что, с этим поговорить?
Mr. Turner, You have stated that you remained close by your window after the crime, is that correct?
Oh, yes, Mr. Holmes. I stayed at my window until the policeman arrived to examine the dead bodies.
That is very interesting, Mr. Turner. Constable Marrow stated that he did not see anyone at the window when he was running through Half Moon Street.
Well, I think Constable Marrow and me, we might have been distracted by the whistles and shouts coming from Whitechapel. We could have missed each other somehow. You understand what I mean? It was a bit of a stressful moment, to tell you the truth, sir.
Allow me to form my own theories, Mr. Turner. Would you mind showing me the view that you had from your window?
Not at all, Mr. Holmes. Please, follow me.
Mr. Turner appears to live very modestly. Mr. Turner was roused from his bed by the sound of gunshots.
Ха, забавно.
This fire is dying out. It was last tended to over an hour ago.
Нифига себе.
The papers are almost entirely burned. I am unable to see what's written here. These words are illegible. The papers were thrown into the fire just...
Да, печально.
This kitchen knife is quite sharp. There are pieces of shredded paper scattered over the table. This kitchen knife was used to cut the paper.
Надо выяснить у него, что это такое, что он разрезал-то, изрезал все вокруг-то.
Anything else you would like to know, Mr. Holmes?
So, that's
А,
the
ну
view
вообще
Mr.
все
Turner
хорошо
had
видно.
when he opened the window. The dead body of Kenneth Butler. Brian Vercotti's contorted corpse. Mr. Turner had a perfect view of the crime scene. He saw the bodies clearly, and Leighton Chapman standing over them.
Anything else you would like to know, Mr. Holmes?
Так, надо побродить, может быть, еще что-то узнаем. Увидим.
It would be my pleasure to assist you with your
Нет.
investigation, Mr. Holmes.
I'm always wondering what's on your mind, Holmes.
Так, ладно. Я так... Так, найти применение. Кусок деревяшки, обнаруженный между каменными плитами возле тела. Так, давайте-ка пока съездим в Скотланд-Ярд и посмотрим, что даст, какие показания даст нам преступник.
Mr. Holmes, whatever brings you here so late at night?
I'm interested in the case of young Leighton Chapman. He was arrested earlier this evening and accused of a double murder.
I beg your pardon? That case is quite clear to the police. Or are there any new facts that we don't know about?
Who knows, Inspector?
Look, you are free to investigate, of course, Mr. Holmes. Chapman was arrested with a revolver in his possession, which you can find in the evidence room. The suspect himself is in custody.
Did you find anything else on his person?
A few personal belongings. Nothing particular, Mr. Holmes.
Thank you, Lestrade.
Пойдем поговорим, пойдем посмотрим. Ой, блин, не туды.
So this is the gun that Leighton was holding when he was caught by the police. It is a Webley revolver, a reliable weapon. It seems as though the shells were not removed from the cylinder. Two out of the 6 shells have been fired. There were 2.
Ага, не сходится, значит, да? Если так.
These cigarettes are filled with cheap tobacco, nothing interesting. A cheap watch, bought with his own money, no doubt.
А яблоко мы не стали смотреть, да? Ну и правильно.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Good evening, Mr. Chapman.
Who are you? I've got nothing to say. It's all a mistake.
Calm down, Leighton. I have come here to help you. To find out if you truly are innocent, as your younger brother Wiggins has told me.
My brother? You know him? Then that means you're...
Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, blimey. All right, Mr. Holmes. I'll tell you everything.
та же татуировка, что и у убитого.
Good. Tell me your account of what happened.
I left my work and I hurried up to see the fireworks in Whitechapel. I was late, so I decided to cut through Half Moon Street. I saw the first fireworks light up in the sky. I bumped into a constable on a corner before entering Half Moon. Then suddenly, what with all the firework flare, I saw two men. They were both lying flat in the middle of the street. I stopped where I was. I thought about turning back to the police, but as I was thinking of that, I saw a third person. He was leaning over the body that was furthest from me. The second I saw him, he raised his head and he stared at me. In a flash, I saw his gun, but he made a dash for it instead and he escaped through Whitechapel Street.
So you might still have had time to return to the constable.
I panicked. I didn't know what to do. Anyway, I approached the bodies just to see if they were still alive. I saw that one had blood pumping out of his stomach. He was dying. It was horrible. The second one was already dead. He had a hole in his head. He was holding a gun in his hand though. I took it, and then I followed the third man.
Interesting. Pray, continue.
I turned a corner, and I saw the man standing in the middle of the street. He seemed to be in some sort of panic. And then, Mr. Holmes, something strange happened. I told the police and they laughed at what I said, but I swear to you, my words are true. I started running towards him. But then I was blinded by a flash. It was so bright that I hardly saw anything for a good dozen seconds. But I kept running forward. As I arrived in Whitechapel, I heard a woman screaming. And then I was caught by the police. But there wasn't a trace of that man. Of course, then they found a gun and all that blood. I couldn't see the murderer escaping and all that mess. Perhaps I was still half-blinded at that moment.
A thrilling account, my young man. Leighton, are you able to describe the person whom you saw standing in Half Moon Street?
Well, I wasn't able to see his face at all. It was too dark, and he was too far away. I could see his silhouette.
And what about that?
Nothing so special. He was wearing a jacket. He was quite average in size and his weight.
I see. Was there anything else that struck you at the time?
No. But perhaps it's strange, but I can't remember the sound of his footsteps as he was running away. Perhaps it was because of the fireworks or the surprise of me seeing him.
Leighton, I confess I am puzzled. Why should a young lad like you take a gun from the hands of a dead man and set off in pursuit of a probable killer?
I know. Keep wondering that, but at the time it was like a reflex. A criminal ought to be arrested, and he was armed.
You were willing to risk your life. That was a little foolish, unless you wanted revenge.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
Да блин.
No, Mr. Holmes. I was just being brave and stupid.
I'm sure that you were, but I believe that you may have recognized one of the victims, Brian Vercotti. You knew that gentleman well, did you not?
However could you know that?
You have a typical tattoo of the Westgate Brotherhood upon your hand. I observed exactly the same mark upon Mr. Vercotti. You came to know him from your sharing a past prison sentence. Am I correct, Mr. Chapman?
Oh, God. You're right, Mr. Holmes.
Так удивляются, что правы.
Would you tell me a little about Brian Vercotti?
We were convicted for a robbery. Once in prison, both of us joined one of these fraternities. During that year, we tried to help each other out, you know?
You were quite young then, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Holmes, we were. We'd only stolen a pound of meat. After we were released and when I saw what my little brother had become, I decided to work towards living an honest life.
And Vicotti?
He had a hard time. His sister had died in a Whitechapel dispensary while he was in prison. He had no family anymore. Our paths split. He fell back into crime.
So you lost him?
Yes. And for around 2 years, I heard no news of him at all.
We shall see you soon, young man.
Такс. В смысле? Ну-ка, подождите. Что-то тут не так. Не может быть просто так.
I'm always wondering what's on your mind.
Mr. Holmes, what is the trouble with that lad?
Мы же не выяснили. Сразу дело, блин, раскрыто. Ага, сейчас. Не гоните. Такс, ну-ка дайте-ка подумать. Ну-ка дайте-ка подумать.
What's up with you, lad? What are you waiting for?
I'm waiting for my brother to be released.
Your brother?
The one that you caught, beat up and imprisoned.
Ah, the murderer.
He ain't killed no one, copper.
Watch your mouth, lad, else you'll be joining that worthless brother of yours.
Угу. Чё за хрень?
I am unable to see any higher. I need to find something to lift my lamp.
Блин. И что я должна найти? К чему прицепить лампу? Блин, а чё, где взять? Какую палку? Эм. Ай, блин. Блин. Подожди, я думаю, короче. Уху-ху-ху-ху. А к чему я подцеплю-то? Да подожди, надо... О! Во!
This should be useful.
Ну-ка, давай.
This is most
Вот и
definitely
оно.
a bullet hole. The brick cracks are fresh. Watson, there was a third shot fired in this street.
Да что ж такое? Да ну нет! Не может этого, блядь, быть. Мы должны пацана оправдать. Вот только как? Так, а у нас же еще... есть ключ. Да? Вот кусок деревяшки, есть еще ключ. Ну вот куда? И куда вот это применить? Хер его знает. Так, ну что же делать-то нам? Я вот даже не... Блин, а как же его оправдать-то, а? Ну-ка, пойдем-ка к этому товарищу. Подожди. А, ну тут без разницы получается, все понятно. Подожди. Может быть, еще раз к нему надо сходить, к этому товарищу. Спросить его.
Anything else you would like to know,
Нет,
Mr.
смотри-ка, ни
Holmes?
хера не... Опа. Вот видите, не
The books
досмотрела.
on this shelf are in a mess. It looks as though Mr. Turner was trying to find something in a hurry here a short while ago.
Ага, собака ты не крещеная.
A perfect...
Ха-ха, ублюдина, пиздец тебе. По-моему, что-то не то, да?
No, it didn't happen this way.
Но я говорю, что-то тут не так.
Anything else you would like to know, Mr. Holmes?
Как-то не так. Ну-ка, подожди. Первое. Встал с кровати. Кого, блядь? Может быть так?
No, it didn't happen this way.
Нет. Ладно. Значит, тогда... Да идти твою мать. Да в смысле, блядь? Ты чё, охуел?
So Mr. Turner used a book to hide an object that he found on Kenneth Butler's body. The question is, what did he find? I can see prints from greasy fingers upon the... Well now,
Опа-на.
what a find! A precious jewel, concealed inside a book. A bracelet with unique ram's head design, a distinctive feature of ancient Grecian artifacts, probably of the Hellenistic era.
Ой, ублюдина. Так.
Mr. Turner, how would it be possible for a man of advanced years, such as yourself, to rush from his bed to the window in a matter of seconds, as you have stated?
Well, I'm able to move very quickly, despite my age. And when the situation requires it, Mr. Holmes.
I highly doubt that, Mr. Turner. I observe that you suffer a severe limp due to your injured right
По-моему,
leg.
это очевидно.
It would have taken at least 10 seconds for you to approach the window. That means you could have easily missed something or someone in Half Moon Street during that time.
You're right, Mr. Holmes. I could have missed something. But it did seem to me that everything happened so quickly. Time can pull tricks on you.
And what of everything else that you told us? Mr. Turner, it is vital that we have your complete and true statement.
Mr. Holmes, I do assure you that the other things I said were most sincere.
Mr. Turner, you were not sincere with me. Not then and not now.
But Mr. Holmes...
This, Mr. Turner, does not look like anything that a poor man might possess. It is worth more than the home that you live in.
I can explain.
No, merely correct me if I am wrong. You saw Leighton Chapman through the window, but you also noticed a glittering object on the ground, this precious jewel. You walked down and took the bracelet from the body of Kenneth Butler, and when you heard the whistles, you hurried away. That broke your walking stick. It caught fast between the cobbles. Constable Marrow was unable to see you in the window, as you were climbing up the stairs on your way back to your flat. Upon returning home, you hid the precious jewel inside a book.
Mr. Holmes, please don't send me to prison. I didn't do anything bad. I'm just a poor man.
А ты
When I
пизданул
chanced upon the
украшение.
I saw it as an opportunity to make a little money. I was desperate. I only took the bracelet, that's all, I swear.
You made a mistake by lying to me. But you are not a criminal. I believe that. Although I must return this bracelet to its rightful owner.
Так, но у нас все равно с вами не сходится, да? Да. Нет, нет, нет. Так, что теперь? Что делать теперь? Может, поговорить с констеблем? Точно. Надо с ним поговорить.
Constable Marrow, I would value your assistance in this investigation.
It would be my pleasure, Mr. Holmes.
I would like to make sure that there are no places in Half Moon Street where a man could hide while you were running through it with your lamp.
All right, Mr. Holmes, what should I do?
Take your lamp and start walking, just as you did before, and try to find me.
Understood.
Оу, мы теперь играем за товарища полицейского. Прикольно.
I can see you very well, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Here you are, Mr. Holmes.
All right, Constable. Let's try again. I'll find another place to hide.
Прятки.
Mr. Holmes, it wasn't difficult to find you at all.
It is obvious now. No one could escape Constable Marrow's lamp while hiding in the street.
Так.
It would be my pleasure to assist
Да,
you in your investigation,
так.
Mr. Holmes.
И где нам это искать?
Mr. Holmes, did you see my brother at Scotland Yard? Is he all right?
Где же нам найти ракетницу?
Such a young man, and already a murderer.
Нет, не здесь. Так, а что здесь? Ну-ка тогда подожди-ка. Такие вот мелкие детали, они должны, в принципе, быть выяснены. Ой, блядь, еще письма. Понятно. Ну, как обычно, в принципе. О! Ну, это естественно, что она будет где-то здесь.
That is not the one I need.
Во.
Here it is.
Вот так-то.
I need to continue my research in my archives.
Ну, давай. Не-не-не, подожди-ка. Вот.
That is not the one I need.
Во. Вероломная кража. Вчера вечером во время перевозки из Британского музея на выставку изобразительного искусства в Гласфорде были похищены сокровища эллинизма. Владелец ломбарда Кеннет Батлер связался с полицией и рассказал о джентльмене, попытавшемся продать ему коллекцию старинных вещей, принесенную в его ломбард на Чёрч-стрит. Полиция вскоре задержала подходящего под описание мужчину. Им оказался профессиональный грабитель Винсент Фолли, как раз предпринявший попытку сбежать из Лондона через порт. Его опознал выживший водитель кэба, в котором перевозили сокровища эллинизма. Винсент Фолли отказался сообщить, где именно он спрятал украденные драгоценности. Ему назначили тюремный срок. Украденные сокровища до сих пор не обнаружены.
Here it is.
Да.
One of the victims, Kenneth Butler, was involved in the story of the stolen Hellenistic treasures. A visit to his pawn shop should tell me more.
Опаньки, я же говорю, не все так просто, а то прям раз и все, и обвинили пацана. Не может же такого быть. Не может. Так, отлично. Мы на улице. Опа! Опа! Ха-ха! Чувак! Здоровенький! Ха-ха! Иди, твою мать, ты что здесь делаешь? Морячок! О! Чё, на кулачках-то поборемся? На рукопашечке-то. Давай. Зайдем в ломбард. Надо в ломбард сходить. Да. Опа. Опа, 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 па. Полки. Во, смотри-ка, полки. Можно...
These tools are exactly what I
О,
need.
отлично. Одно дело нашли. Может быть, и найдем фейерверки?
This is
Ракетница.
exactly what we
Смотри-ка.
need in order to imitate the flash of the
Отлично.
fireworks.
Так. Еще что-нибудь есть интересное здесь? Так, во.
The ram's heads. This necklace belongs to the 5 rams of Mittelin collection. Interesting. That means that Kenneth Butler owned a part of this collection all this time, 10 years after the theft.
Я не знаю, здорово или здорово? Кеннет. Здорово, Кеннет. Помнится, ты как-то сказал мне о 3 украшениях золотые с головами овнов из Древней Греции. Они еще у тебя? У меня хорошие новости. Я нашел человека с деньгами, который сходит с ума по таким штукам. Он готов отвалить небольшое состояние. Я могу устроить тебе встречу с этим денежным мешком, но ты поделишься заработком. Буду ждать тебя на углу Большой аллеи и Халф-Мун-стрит. В воскресенье вечером до начала салюта. Брайан Веркотти. Ага. Так, что у нас здесь? Угу. Ха! Так. Угу. Ну, что так, что так. Ха. Да нет же. Нет, 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 нет. Это не так. Не убивал пацан.
It looks as though Mr. Butler kept a careful record of his operations.
Все, мы здесь больше ничего не это самое не найдем, да? Ладно. Ну, значит, нам теперь надо к констебелю. Пойдем. Так. Подожди, Ватсон. Ну-ка.
Why are you looking at me all the time like that?
I'm just watching you, lad. I never know what to expect from people like
Что за
you.
нелепые диалоги
People
здесь?
like me?
Yes, street beggars and thieves.
I ain't a thief.
Oh no? Then where did you get whatever it is that you're gnawing on? I very much doubt that you bought it.
What ain't seen can't hardly be stolen.
Так-ка, подожди.
Constable Marrow, Watson, I would like to perform another kind of reenactment with your help.
I'm listening, Mr. Holmes.
I want to check if Leighton's testimony can be trusted. If someone could vanish into thin air at a specific moment.
But Holmes, I don't see how.
I am going to be the mysterious gentleman whom Leighton followed. I will stand exactly where he saw him before he was blinded by the flash. Watson, you will be Leighton. When I fire the signal flare, you should start to chase me.
I understand, Holmes.
You, Constable Marrow, just play your part and do exactly as you did. Just, please, wait 5 seconds after the signal flare. I doubt that Polly Powell would have screamed any earlier.
As you say, Mr. Holmes.
Let us begin then. Catch me if you can.
А нихера себе.
The moon illuminates this wall. Anyone trying to climb it would be easily spotted by Constable Marrow. The streetlights fall directly on this wall. Not an ideal spot to escape the crime scene. It is also directly in front of Polly Powell. This wall is cast in shadow. It would be difficult to see anyone scaling it.
Охренеть.
I can barely see anything.
Ебать ту Люсю.
Holmes? Are you there?
Так я ж нажала на D.
I should try climbing faster.
Да, ну я же нажала на... Я нажимаю на D, а оно не срабатывает. Как так? Вот, нажала на D, блядь. Вот нажала на А. Пиздец.
Barely see anything. Holmes? Are you there? Where is he? My God, a man can't just disappear like that.
Не, правда, нажимаю на D, видел? Не срабатывало, нифига ничего. Какой-то заглюк, сука.
Holmes? Holmes? Where are you?
I cannot see you, Mr. Holmes. Dr. Watson, it seems that Mr. Holmes has disappeared.
Don't worry, gentlemen, I am up here, above your heads.
How on earth did you get up there, Holmes?
I am using crampons and a climbing axe, although the person we are looking for did not leave any traces of such tools. Constable, is there any way to get to the top of this building?
Yes, Mr. Holmes, I can show you. The door to the building can be found from Whitechapel Street.
Gentlemen, I am on my way down.
Прыгай. Осмотреть чердак. Ну, погнали. Да что ты, блин, крутишься, вертишься.
These shards of glass
Ага.
are from the window above. It's empty. A cluster of thick black threads. They're unusually strong. I should examine them under the microscope.
Ooh.
Someone broke through the window to get inside the attic, but in his haste he ripped his jacket. We can conclude that the person whom Leighton saw climbed up the wall, broke into the attic window, and escaped through the hatch.
Что-то какая-то херня. Так подожди, я люблю смотреть в телескоп. Твою мать, женщина, здравствуй, здравствуй, красота. Хе-хе, прикольная баба. Тобик, привет. Лучший нос Британской империи, блин.
Let us take a closer look. It is not a thread, but a hair. I very much doubt that it is human. I need to compare this sample with a human hair and a horse hair. A shaving brush is usually made from horsehair. Watson, could you please pass me your shaving brush?
Here you are.
Watson, look, what's outside the window?
Well, I don't see anything. Ouch! Holmes!
Oh, don't make such a fuss. One little hair. Human hair is significantly thinner than the black sample. The horsehair is thinner than the hair that we found. So, this black hair belongs to an animal, and it is larger than a horse. A hair from a large and exotic animal.
Твою мать, что за херня происходит? Охереть. все и дальше интересней. Что за экзотическое животное? Слон? Только слон, скорее всего, мог быть. Так, Уиггинс. Где ты, мой дружок? Нам нужна твоя помощь. Да, блять, опять какие-то разговорчики.
Wiggins, my lad, what are you doing here? You'd best be leaving and be quick about it.
Констебль, ты его задрал уже.
You'd learn more by watching Mr. Holmes. He knows exactly what he's doing. Not like you.
Oi, watch your tongue.
Пацан нарывается. А почему трупы до сих пор здесь лежат? Вонять же будут.
Mr. Holmes?
We have good news for you, Wiggins. The investigation has proven very interesting so far. We found facts and details that confirm your brother's innocence.
I knew it, Mr. Holmes.
But for now, Wiggins, we need your help.
Anything you like, Gov.
I need you to locate a circus that has stopped over in London. It needs to have disposed of at least one exotic animal. A very large one.
You can count on me, Mr. Holmes.
Не сомневаюсь в тебе, пацан. Не сомневаюсь, ты ушлый. Ты найдешь все, что нам нужно.
I do hope that those children don't get into trouble, Holmes.
Don't worry, Watson. I predict some news in 7 seconds.
Mr. Holmes, we found it. Here it is.
And this is a young Indian elephant, the highlight of the show. Duval Brothers, a well-known travelling circus that is currently stopped in London. I believe that is exactly the type of circus we are looking for. I'll pay it a visit.
Давайте на этом пока остановимся. Всем спасибо за просмотр, за лайки, за подписку. Продолжим изучать цирк братьев Дюваль и бедного несчастного слоника в следующей серии. На этом все. Всем спасибо, всем пока.